This twisted psychology of worshipping money doesn't stay contained within borders. It spread into a full marauder mentality. Look at how Westerners view the world. Every natural resource, every pool of labor, every spark of talent in other countries is seen as theirs for the taking. They don't see sovereign people, they see asset to be exploited, pillaged, and profited from. European prosperity didn't emerge from superior innovation or work ethic. It came from the systematic theft of wealth from Africa, Asia, and the Americas. The gold mines of South America, the rubber plantation of the Congo, the tea gardens of India, all of it extracted by force while entire population were enslaved, starved, or worked to death. The actual producers were left with nothing but genocide, dispossession, and mass impoverishment. But when this Western savagery expanded, it didn't just seize resources, it also imposed a financial structure on everyone. Colonized countries were forced to abandon their own system and made dependent on these European banks and especially the currencies. Even after independence, they were left with economies hardwired to serve external interests. And here's the thing, these never stopped. The methods just got more sophisticated. Look at Africa today. 14 countries are still stuck using that bullshit currency called the CFA. That's 200 million people still dependent on the colonizer's money, with its value tied to the euro. What kind of sovereignty is that? You can't even control your own monetary policies. Any nation that dares to dream of economic independence becomes a target. And this is why the Western establishment is terrified right now, because the world is waking up. And when nations even whisper about exercising their economic sovereignty, when they commit they call it the unforgivable sin of choosing their own path, they become marked for punishment. The machine moves swiftly. Military power, intelligence network, international institution twisted into weapons of control. The UN, the WTO, all mobilized with one purpose: to terrorize any economy, any society that refuse to comply. This is how they always operated, through the denial of alternatives, through force that shames even dictators. Extortion masquerading as diplomacy, blackmail dressed up as a trade agreement, threat delivered with a smile. Their foundation, are built on vicious exploitation, on slavery, and extreme violence. Let's look at an example. Egypt. Egypt, a nation that did everything right by their rules. They followed every IMF prescription, submitted completely. And what did they get? Financial collapse, currency obliteration, forced to sell their own country piece by piece just to survive. Remember Libya? Gaddafi dared to propose a gold-backed dinar for African trade. All African nations were supposed to use one currency. So that currency could transform the entire continent. Within months, America, Britain, and Europe descended like vultures. They didn't just destroy a government, they destroyed the people. They buried hope itself under the rubble of a once prosperous nation. Iran is also a great example. They tried to sell oil outside of the dollar system. Where is the response? Economic strangulation. Sanctions designed not to just punish but to make an example out of them, to send a message to every other nation watching. This is what happened when you choose independence. This is Western capitalism in its purest form. Not the fairy tale they teach in schools, not the freedom they preach on television. This is a system that ensures alternatives don't just fail, they never get the chance to succeed. Now fast forward to today and tell me this doesn't sound familiar. Instead of lords with castles, we've got monsters like BlackRock, State Street, and Vanguard. These aren't companies, they're economic vampire that controls trillions in assets. Just to put it in perspective, BlackRock alone managed over $10 trillion. Let me repeat that. They manage 10 trillion with a T. That's more wealth than every country on earth except America and China. Well, let that sink in for a moment. They hold major stakes in almost every corporation you interact with. That means no matter where you work, what you buy, or what you consume, odds are you're paying tribute to the same people. You know, the face changed, but the game stayed exactly the same. And it's not just corporation. Look at housing. In medieval times, peasants could never own the land they worked. They rented it from the lord. Today, Wall Street investment firms are buying up single-family homes at scale, sometimes with straight cash offers that nobody can compete with. Latest statistics show that investors already purchased 1 in 7 homes in large metro area in the US. This is not just happening in America. All over Europe, Ireland, Spain, Germany, they're doing the same thing. Investment companies have more than tripled their residential property acquisition over the last decade, I guess. These aren't landlords who understand the community. They're completely detached from local wages and what people can actually afford. They're stealing your future, and you sit there blaming immigrants. Even your data works the same way. You generate value every single day. Your click, your post, your attention, your retweet, all of that. Who owns it? Not you. It gets harvested and monetized by tech empire like Facebook, Alphabet, and Amazon. And you get nothing. Just as a personal story, I don't usually share personal stories on my channel, but I put out some music tracks a while back. And when I started learning about royalties and how it works, how the system, I found out that Spotify pays artists $0.003 per stream. So let me put it this way, if 1,000 people listen to my music, I get $3, and that's before transaction fees. Then guess what happened? For some unknown reason, they decided they won't even pay royalty anymore for tracks that get fewer than 1,000 streams per a year or something like that. They decided small artists deserve nothing. What we're seeing isn't just inequality, it's extraction on a level no empire ever achieved. A medieval king controlled what he could tax inside his borders. Today, financial institutions own slices of everything, everywhere, all at once. Index giants sit as a major shareholder across most of the companies you buy from, work for, or depend on. These parasites don't invent antibiotics or pave the roads. Their job is simple. Take a cut from everyone else's works forever. The concentration isn't just big, it's historically extreme. The data shows we've snapped back to the level that rivals the worst moment of the 19th century aristocracies. Today, aristocracy doesn't wear crowns. You know, it hides inside of the ETFs, private equity funds, and holding companies. The tribute doesn't arrive in grain, it flows through management fees, interest payments, licensing rents, and countless other extraction mechanisms. Historically, the lords needed armies to keep tribute flowing. Today, contracts do the same job at a planetary scale. They capture the gains, compound them through passive ownership, and then use that wealth to shape the very rules that keep the harvest steady. Tax code, accounting standard, antitrust threshold, monetary policies. This is not capitalism. Extraction is automated, legalized, and globalized. And if you're wondering why it feels so suffocating lately, it's because the machine has reached maturity. The levers of extraction are everywhere.